Today I am here at my neighbor's cabin, Lee and Kim. You all have not met them yet, but you will today. And I'm going to be assisting them in re-plumbing their entire cabin. As some of you may know, I re-plumbed my cabin in the woods a few months ago with PEX pipe, and that went pretty well. It's been working good for me. Okay, here it goes. Watch for it to come out of this cold water. Yeah, that's awesome. And it survived a brutal winter that we had up here. A lot of freezing, a lot of snow, except for that one time when I left for about 3 weeks and I was too lazy to drain it properly before leaving, which led to the water in the toilet freezing and the water inside the wall going to the shower froze. But as many of you saw, I got that fixed and there were ultimately no problems with the new PEX side of things that I installed. However, Lee's cabin had all kinds of problems. Burst pipe here, and then he had to patch it up, and then a burst pipe over here, and he had to patch it up. So he's got all kinds of mismatched types of pipe. It's kind of crazy. And his cabin was built around the same time as mine in the 1970s. So it's in major need of a total redo, and we are going to be doing that today. And don't worry, throughout the video, I will get more into detail about the backstory of how this job is happening. But let's just pick up right where it began, and that's where all projects like this begin, which is at the hardware store. I'm here at my favorite store in the whole wide world, and I got a long ways to drive, so hopefully I got all the right stuff. All right, so I'm here a few days before doing the plumbing job, and I got all my supplies and tools laid out here. I'm going through the mental checklist to see if I forgot anything, which I probably did, but I've got all this new stuff, and then I got a box of miscellaneous stuff from when I did my re-plumbing job at my cabin. And then I brought everything down here to Lee's garage, laid it out again. We did some preliminary digging, ditching, figuring things out. I gotta pick out the spot where the black box is gonna go.
It's under here. Well, I don't know. It's coming this way, so I don't know what to do. But we're gonna change out that valve, and then from there on, we're doing PEX.
What valve is that?
That's my shut off for the house.
How'd you get down in there?
I dug very deep.
No, I mean on a normal.
I never shut it off there. I shut it off later.
Oh, so you're gonna raise this guy up?
And that leads me to today, where we are finally ready to get this plumbing job started. So I have alluded to this fact in the past about my cabin. I'm on a shared well here. I have a shared well up there. A community well up here. I am on a community well water system up here. And while Lee's cabin is a pretty good distance away from mine, he is still on the same water system as me. So we are way out here in the woods sharing a water system, and his supply line from the well comes from that direction, and that's this white PVC pipe right here, and that's what we're going to be tapping into, and that's going to supply the water to his cabin. And just leave the roll right there. So this is going to be our first connection. This is going from that PVC supply line transitioning to PEX. Okay. This is a dangerous game, making metal to plastic. There's a balance here where it's like, that's probably good right there. You don't want to over thread it because you'll strip the plastic threads and then it's not good. So, all right, first cut, folks.
So I can take this out of here.
Yeah, that's that thin stuff. Oh, thanks. And now we glue. Push it on there. All right, first part done. All right, I'm just getting started and I'm already headed for the showers. All right, so I'm under the shower. We got 1/2 inch PVC and 1/2 inch CPVC. Yeah, this will work. Just one. Thanks. There we go. Getting ready to make the shower connections, and Lee is going to hand me the cold water pipe from the outside. Got it. Got all my supplies here served up on a platter. And then he's gonna hand me the hot water pipe and I'll be able to make my connections. And I'm gonna explain why I'm doing the connection underneath the shower in this way later on. But as I was piecing together this crazy concoction of fittings out there, Lee was like, oh, you're one of those YouTube guys who doesn't film every single step of the process and makes these like large jumps in time. And then guys' wives watch these videos and go, well, how come this guy was able to do this in an hour and it takes you 3 days? So yep, I'm one of those guys. Yeah, seeing other people's electrical situations makes me feel better about mine.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on Lee, everyone. He did not do all of the electrical that you see here. But as many of you guys who are watching know, my electrical was really bad. And some people think I still have it bad, but that's their opinion. Could you just hold it with your hands on that end?
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, right there. There we go. Carpentry. Like, even when you do,
I mean, I'll help you do anything, but I'm not. You know, 'cause a lot of them get stuff in here for money.
yeah,
No,
right.
you know, no, I'm too busy right now. I have a boundary trail. I don't know, maybe, but it was all. It's a tight fit.
Should have came out belly up. Yeah. Holy crap, man. Jeez.
Just have to make sure you get the hot and the cold right.
Yes. They're labeled on the tank, luckily.
All right, Diego. We got a sandwich to eat.
Okay, 2 more screws. All right, we finished our delicious lunch. Thank you, Kim. And now I'm going to be running the lines to the hot water tank. Push?
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, just let me know when I'm at that shut off.
Yeah, that's a couple inches extra.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. That's fun. water heater. That's a big step there. Nice. All right, I'm taking all my dirty clothes off. I'm all cleaned up, Kim. I'll dirty up underneath the cabinets.
All you want.
Bathroom. So we're gonna start running the pipes inside. I got this one here. This is gonna be the cold water to the kitchen sink. Lee's gonna go inside and we'll yell at each other back and forth, and I'm gonna push it up through the floor. Okay, this one right here. Yep, okay, that's cold. All right, I got the pipe in there. I'm gonna start pushing it through. I'm through the floor. There we go. Nice. Okay, I'm pushing through. There. Okay. Yeah, the same hoses that are there.
Yeah, both these hoses are really long.
Okay, cool. And we're gonna do the same process, running the lines through the floor, this time into the bathroom sink. Okay, I'm on it. Coming through.
Yeah, we're through.
Nice. All right, well, it looks like a mess, but it's organized chaos here. So right now I'm laying out all the fittings for the hot water box. Before I forget to record a shot of this, this is all the old stuff that came out of the underside of the cabin. The threads on the pipes going in were a little rusty.
Diego. Careful talking to her.
It just
Looks good.
It's functional. Jeez. Then I just become a weirdo. Like, I'm kind of already a weirdo, but I don't know.
It's good.
Sweet. Okay, that was the hot water box over there, and the cold water box is gonna go right there. Okay, slight change in plans. I got all this put together. This is gonna go right here, but we gotta run the toilet line before I do that, so let's go do the toilet. That in there. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, we got the toilet connected. Now we can do this. Oh, nice. Yeah, there we go. I believe I'll be able to make all my connections and then just set this on top of everything.
Yep.
And we'll be golden like that.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we took out a load. Way better than it was. So, all right. Well, give me a call in a little while, or I'll give you a call.
Dude, my biceps and forearms are about shot. Feels like I've been doing curls all day. All right, guys, holy crap. Almost done. I just need to cover all of this pipe that's under here with insulation, and then all the underside stuff will be done. To make our faucet connections inside the cabin, gotta go from the 3/4 that's coming up on the underside of the cabin to 1/2 inch, and then the shut off to those braided hoses. Thanks.
He stays. Okay.
Integrating all kinds of stuff, and you know, I add music to it, and I really need to build a wood shed. That's all. Yeah. I had oh my gosh, that's it. Time to go test the water.
Here we go.
Here we go. Moment of truth.
Okay.
That valve that Lee just switched on goes to this point right here. Now I'm going to switch this on. Right now, you should be able to turn on the faucets. All the cold water in the cabin should work.
Okay, we got cold there.
Okay, sweet. Oh, something I just thought of. We might. That looked okay, but sometimes taking the little filter off helps.
Got cold there.
Oh, nothing. Toilet should work.
Sounds like filling.
Yeah, cold's working. Now I gotta turn on the valve going to the hot water tank. Let's go ahead and go all the way with this now. So now we go over to the hot water heater, and this should start filling the tank. Now, turn on the hot water line. Here we go, here we go. So, yeah, cold water's going from all the way over there to the tank. Now the hot water's going from here to this box. This is where the line comes from the hot water tank. Now I'll turn this on to everything else. Yeah, I should have hot water inside now. Okay. All the way. Does that look good? Nice. I'm not seeing or hearing anything that sounds like a leak so far. Will you guys be able to take a hot shower tonight? That's the question.
Yes.
Awesome.
I didn't see any leaks.
Awesome,
Yeah,
man.
good.
This is great. Oh my gosh, I scored.
I'll be around.
Thank you, Kim. This was my reward for my plumbing job. And Lee, thank you. Did you help with the brownie?
I did not, but I was going to help eat them.
Okay. You guys got some left over. You didn't give them all to me. Okay. All right, half a pan of brownies. Nice.
All right.
I'm back the next day at Lee and Kim's, and I'm going to see if anything is broken. Hey, Lee. Does your water still work?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Oh, I can help finish insulating the underside and level out that box and these other boxes and stuff too.
Yeah, I got some gravel. I'm gonna go get some sand.
Okay. That's not going anywhere.
What's your next one gonna be?
Next video?
Yeah.
Getting firewood. Tomorrow I'll go out and get some more, and then I'll have footage from 3 days. So I'll make it 3 days of gathering firewood, and then the week after that will be this video about plumbing.
So how often do you try to make one?
Once a week.
Once a week? Oh,
Yep.
good guy. So you're on it.
Yeah.
You got to keep your fans good, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much takes up all my time. I'm making my way around with the great stuff, filling these gaps in the holes in the floor that I made. And then I'm gonna fasten the pipe to the floor. Oh, it won't move. Oh. Now those won't move. Now I'll wrap it with this insulation. Like that. And then I'll wrap this with a couple layers of tape, because this stuff has got some self-adhesion quality to it, but I've seen it fail after a few years. So this tape will be sure to really hold it together when that stuff fails. And that's the setup right there. Pretty much gonna do that all the way around everything that I did. As I crawl my way out of here, I'll get some footage of the final product. There's the hot and cold going over to the hot water heater. There's the bathroom sink, hot and cold. And then as we work our way this way, there's the shower, hot and cold, going down there. That's the toilet right there, goes that direction. There's the hot and cold to the shower from a different direction. And as we come over here, all the cold water lines go there. That's the hot and cold to the kitchen sink there. All right, well, the bulk of this is done. Now it's just time for finishing touches. So I'll follow up in a few days after Lee does all that stuff. Never mind, I just lied to you and myself, because I totally forgot about an exterior hose bib connection. So I went back under here and I added another T right here, and that goes to this. And Lee still has to put skirting on the cabin. He's gonna redo all that, and he's gonna replace his beams, posts, a bunch of other stuff. So this is just gonna be a temporary situation, but at least he'll be able to use a hose out here to wash his car and do other things. Hose bib. All right, can I be done now, Lee?
Yes. Well, you know, I was just thinking.
All right, everybody. Well, it's been about a week, and I'm back at Lee and Kim's cabin here. I rode the bike down because we're having much better weather now. Sun's out, it's dry, beautiful. And check it out, Lee's been busy backfilling this area. Looks like he added some railroad ties and some bricks to this area right here between the garage and the cabin. Of course, the supply line going to the cabin is underneath all this stuff now. And as you work your way over here, this is the box with all the cold water fittings, and Lee added some insulation to the lid. Of course, we got our hose bib. Yep, works. And then working our way over here, this is their hot water box. All All right, I can't get that one off of there, but you know what's inside that box. All the hot water fittings are inside there. And it looks like Lee insulated all up in there, filled up that big cavity. And then of course this shutoff right here has a low point drain right there, just like in my water system. So the idea with this hot water box is that all the hot water lines are gonna gravity into the box. That's why it's as deep as it is. And all those red pipes slope down and they're angled in that direction. So from the hot water tank, that one slopes down. From the bathroom sink, slopes down. From the shower, slopes down. From the kitchen sink, slopes down. When you unscrew the low point drain inside that box and open up the valves inside, all the water can drain out there. So when you leave the cabin in the wintertime when it's freezing, there won't be standing water inside the pipes and they won't freeze and burst. With the cold water box, it's the same idea. Everything drains to that point, but that is higher than that is over there. So that's why there's not a shutoff with a low point drain in there, because all the water is going to gravity down to here. Inside this box, that's a really, really low point in there. The lowest point, in fact. It's far below anything in the cabin, so all the cold water will drain down to that point right there. All right, everybody, I'm back here at the cabin, and I wanted to answer some questions that I had for myself because I'm the only person that has seen the video that you just saw in the whole wide world. And so I have to think about, well, I don't have to, but I thought about questions that people might have after watching the video, and here's some of them. What about the tree roots in the ditch that the pipe is in? So some of you probably saw when we were ditching, there were tree roots in the ditch that we went underneath, and there were some bigger ones that we had to work around. My philosophy when I was doing my plumbing job, I had to do some ditching between the cabin and the garage, and I cut everything out of the way. I took a Sawzall and I just big tree roots, small tree roots, I cut them out of the way because those things are going to grow. And if your pipe is in the ground, who knows, like 5, 10, 20 years from now, those tree roots are getting bigger and it's going to push on that pipe and you just don't know what's going to happen. It's going to affect the pipe. So my philosophy is you just cut them out of the way and deal with the consequences because the tree is outside. It's not buried in a ditch. So if it dies, then you can just cut it down. I'm not an arborist. I don't know very much at all about trees. This is just what I think. There's so many tree roots in the ground. You cut one of them out of the way, it's probably not going to kill the tree. But I left that decision up to Lee. That tree with the big roots, it is the tree that his Starlink is in. So it was totally understandable that he was like, hey, let's work around him. I can see why people make that decision and I don't have a problem with it. So that's the tree roots. Oh, okay, the shower. That was a crazy situation. Like I said, there was 1/2 inch PVC and 1/2 inch CPVC going to the shower, and I had this crazy concoction. So I already had those fittings put together for my cabin and I didn't end up using them, so I just used them here. I just tapped in right there because same reason that I did with my shower. We would have had to rip out an interior wall. Kim did all this like interior decorating on that wall, so all that would have had to come out to expose the pipes that go into the shower and like replace all that stuff right there. So that's why I used all those fittings right underneath the cabin and just connected it right there. And that's why I put shutoff valves so that in the future, when they want to replace all that stuff in the shower, Lee can crawl under there, turn both of those off, and then he can go from there up and replace all that stuff and just put the new PEX like right to the shutoff. So that's why I did all that for the shower. I got this comment a lot on the plumbing video that I did for my cabin. Diego, why didn't you use PEX A, I think it's called? I don't even know. There's multiple different kinds of PEX. There's multiple different kinds of crimp tools. Apparently there's a battery powered crimp. So like mine is obviously man powered. People were like, hey, you need to get like the battery powered one, so much easier. This is the answer to all those questions. I used that type of PEX when I did my tiny house, so I'm familiar with that. I still have that crimp tool. I've been using that crimp tool for years. Those crimps are unbelievable. I will insert a clip right now of me showing the extreme effectiveness of that crimp, and that's why I use it. Okay, so check this out. This is an example of how these crimps work. Got to get my tool on there, bend that back, grab this, pry it over like that, Then that thing comes off of there like that. That's how you get it off. But look at how that crimp like forms to the plastic. It literally squeezes it so tight, and I can't even pull that off of there with my strength. Like I can turn this like that, but I can't just pull it. It won't come apart. Like it won't come off of there. And even if I put the teeth of this wrench in there and try and pull it apart with all my strength, I can't get it off. It won't come off. So literally I have to cut this. Like I have to go like this, make an incision, and maybe it'll come off now. It's like difficult. I'm trying to get this off and I can't get it off of there. Dude, I'm like, I want to give up on, I'm tired of doing this. But I want to get it off so I can show you. Oh, look at how much work I had to do to get that stupid thing off of there. So that's when it goes on clean, and then those crimps are so powerful, man. It's crazy, crazy. So yeah, that's the type of pipe and crimp and tools that I'm experienced with. So that's why I purchased that kind, and that's why I use that type of PEX and those type of crimps, 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch, just because that's what I know. Why not use a single manifold inside the boxes? Okay, I talked about this in the last plumbing video I did. I'm just gonna insert that clip right here because that explains everything. There do exist these things called manifolds that are just one giant piece that have all of these T's built into them so that you don't have to cut these little pieces and have these individual crimps all over the place. I could only find those manifolds in plastic, and I wanted to use brass fittings, as many brass fittings as possible, and I didn't like the idea of having a big plastic manifold here, so I just went with the method of cutting those little pieces and putting it together that way. So why did you put plumber's tape on the threads to the water heater? I think on the hot side it didn't look like I did. It got covered up, so when I was watching the video I was like, oh, people probably don't know I did that to both of them, but you can't really tell. It's not actually required because those rubber washers on those types of fittings do all the sealing. So I use that plumber's tape just as like an extra because those threads, when I was taking the old pipes off, they were like really rusty and rough. And so I just thought it would be a good idea to just add some extra, I don't know, I put it on there because why not? It's not gonna hurt. I wanted to say thank you to neighbor Al for teaching me the trick that we used to get the pipe from the underside of the cabin through the floor. Al and I used that same trick where he stuck something through the hole to kind of guide the pipe through, and then I pushed up. We used that same trick today, or not today, but when I did the plumbing at Lee's cabin.
Put it down through and then put that on and push up.
Okay. Okay, this one right here. Yep, okay, that's cold. All right, I got the pipe in there. I'm gonna start pushing it through. Why didn't you use fasteners inside the cabinets and to the toilet? Okay, so inside the cabin, like when the pipes are coming up through the floor, the pipes are just up there and they're not really like fastened to anything. They're just hanging there. And that's like, you know, most professional plumbers would probably, they wouldn't go up through the floor. One thing, they would go through the wall probably. But the floor was just the easiest, most straightforward. So that's why we did that. Some of you saw in a previous video, I just use zip ties on my pipes in the bathroom because that's one way to like fasten it. I did the same thing under my kitchen sink. Is there anyone else who loves zip ties as much as I do? Because I bet I like them more than you do. The answer to why I did that is because it's most straightforward, and it's also a budget thing, which I'll get into. That's another question. Okay, the next one is not really a question. It's more of just a statement I wanted to make. I am not a licensed plumber. I'm not a professional plumber. I've never had professional training. Everything that I know how to do with plumbing is through experience with my tiny house and my own plumbing here at the cabin and with Al, and just like trial and error. That's how I know how to do plumbing. Okay, I just thought of something else that I didn't say when I was upstairs, and I don't feel like going back up there and recording it in the same spot to make it like continuous and not a weird jump, but here we go. The objective was to try my best to have all of the crimps and connections in locations that are easily accessible. So that's why I use those boxes with lids in multiple spots, so that if there was ever a leak or a problem, Kim and Lee would know, okay, it's got to be right here, or it's got to be right here, or it's got to be right here, or it's got to be under the sink. Like all of the places where there could be a improper connection or a leak or something, it's like you know where it could be. Because if you make connections where you covered the pipe with the insulation, then you have to like cut the tape, pull off the insulation, and inspect. Like there's a fitting right here, so it could be leaking right here. So that's why I did things the way that I did. Okay, so I said I was gonna get into the backstory of like how this job happened, so let's do that now. I was talking to my next door neighbors, Joe and Carol, and they were telling me about Lee and Kim's problems that they had this winter with all the burst pipes due to the freezing. And I was like, hey, you know, I've replumbed my whole cabin. Maybe I could help them out. And as I mentioned before, we have a community water system here. So everybody up here that uses the water system, including me, including my neighbors, Joe and Carol, Lee and Kim, everybody else, we all pay a little bit of money to maintain the water system. And Lee is actually the person that's most responsible for maintaining the system. So he is very, very busy working all the time. He's a very busy guy, and he recently had a health scare. I'm not going to get too into that because that's kind of personal, but he's doing well now. He told me that he's in good health, but this few months ago he wasn't doing great, and he also was working a lot. So it was like this combination of, hey, I've done plumbing before, they're having problems with their plumbing, I make YouTube videos, so I'll do the plumbing for free, because if I make a good enough video, I can make money off of the video. So you don't even have to pay me for the labor. We'll just use the community funds that everybody pays into, and we'll use that money to pay for the materials. And that was about $400 when all was said and done. I think it was $407. I purchased a bunch of extra stuff, and then I went back to Grover and Home Depot and returned items. And when all was said and done, it was just over $400. Got my returns done from Home Depot and Grover. Got some money back. Nice. So we were able to do this as a community using my labor, my resources, with a history of knowledge of plumbing, and then my job being a YouTuber. So I was able to do the labor for free, and you know, they got a pretty good plumbing job, probably not as good as a professional, but they would have had to pay, I don't know how much, multiple thousands of dollars, I'm guessing, to get all that done. So I think it all worked out for everybody. I think that's it for this. Last thing I wanted to say, there's always so much I want to say that I like forget. And then when I'm editing the video, finishing it up, I was like, oh, I wish I would have mentioned that. But I like to do a little preview about what's coming next week in my video. And I don't really know yet because I have multiple things that I could do. I said last week that I was going to see Julia for her birthday, and I did that, and it was awesome. And I got some footage. I could make a video about that. We'll see. I don't know. I'll insert a few clips right here just to show you guys that I did in fact see Julia, and it was great. So thank you for all of the birthday wishes that you guys left last week in the comments for her. Really looking forward to her getting back to Washington this summer. Got a few more months to go until that happens, and I can't wait because having to hop on a plane to fly and see her really sucks right now, but is what it is. We're gonna get through it because she's awesome. And I love the heck out of her, and can't wait to see her again. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know how much this ending conclusion rambling is going to add onto the video, but that was pretty good. Like, I think the main part of the video was like 25 minutes. My videos have been really, really long lately, like almost an hour. I tried to make this one a little bit shorter, but I may have just failed by adding this thing on at the end, which wasn't really necessary, but I just like to be as transparent and honest as I possibly can be in all of my videos. So that was my best effort to try my best, try hard at accomplishing all those things. Really appreciate you guys checking out this one, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.